Episode 4 of this series. The sun is shining, we feel hopeful, and there's no better time to share with you guys a secret from Japanese people.
In the series so far, we have reset our minds, understood our values and passions, wrote down our ultimate goals for each of the life areas, and assessed where we are now in relation to those.
Now it's the time to go to the next chapter of our journey. Well, actually we kind of started this process already in the last episode, but just we forgot to mention it. Better late than never.
The Act 3 consists of doing exercises by asking yourself important questions and then writing down the answer. Many times in our heads we have a lot of things going on and it's kind of difficult to organize our thoughts there. So that's why it's important to write down things either with a pen and paper or digitally.
As mentioned before, in this episode we will talk about a Japanese secret to live a long and happy life. And this concept is called Ikigai. Ikigai roughly translates to a reason for being. It is basically what gives meaning to your life and gets you up in the morning. Doing it doesn't feel like working, but it can still be your career. So it doesn't feel anymore like a job, but it can really be a mission you are paid for.
So this video basically goes deep into the mission and career area of life. We believe that it's very important to understand this area better because doing something you love for a living, it's much more fulfilling than just working a job that gives you money.
So do this exercise today with us and who knows, maybe you will be able to find your Ikigai. Let's go!
Ikigai consists of 4 different aspects. There are 4 different areas and in the middle of them there is Ikigai. This means basically that you need all 4 of them before you can find your Ikigai. For the sake of simplicity, we will just divide these 4 areas into 4 boxes. So now let's take a paper and a pen and divide it in 4.
The first area includes the things that you love. So this can be basically anything, it doesn't need so much of a description. It can be things that you do in your free time, that you have difficulties to stop doing because you are really passionate about them, and it can be basically painting, spending time with friends, traveling.
Yeah,
right?
Basically anything that puts you kind of in a flow state. Now spend a few minutes writing down, listing here things that you love having or doing in your life, and you can use the previous exercises we have done in the series as reference, and just remember to not think too much, just write down what comes in your mind.
Yeah. So differently from the previous exercise, we will not share straight away the things that we wrote in this box. We will complete the exercise and then share later.
And also because it would take forever, we have 15 things each of us here, so that's fine.
Well, there's a lot of things we love.
Exactly.
So the second thing that we are going to write in the box is things that we are good at.
So this doesn't mean that you need to be already master in something. You could just write here things that you are good at now, and also things that you kind of want to put a lot of effort to become good at. So kind of 2 different things you can write here.
Yes, let's go. This was a tough one because I think it requires a lot of judging yourself, not judging in a negative way, but really ask yourself, am I really good at this?
Kind of being honest with yourself.
Yes.
The third one is what you can be paid for. Of course, money doesn't directly equal happiness, but the fact is that in our modern society, we need to work 2/3 of our lives, basically to just earn the living, put food in our stomach, and so on. So money is quite important. So if we need to work this much, of course we should rather do something that we love with all this time. I mean, not something that we actually hate to go there every morning and just to get the money.
And that's exactly why we are doing this exercise. So now let's spend a little bit of time to write things down that we could be paid for now or we would like to be paid for in the future.
Yep.
So the last thing that we are going to write in the box is Something that many people don't think immediately when searching, for example, for a job or deciding what they want to do in their life. That is what the world needs.
And this is something that you might be like us, that you don't know exactly what are the biggest issues in the world right now. So we can just think of this in a smaller scale.
So what we are going to write down would be more like what we think our world needs, how we could help others, how we could impact the world with a positive
way.
Yeah. Way. Yeah.
Now, after filling all these areas, the next task is to find things that are common in all of the areas, kind of things that are connecting to kind of each other. Let's do that.
Let's do that. After finding this immediate connection between the single things in the box, what we need to do, it's a lot of critical thinking.
Yeah.
So for example, here we found different connections between certain things. We use 3 colors in this case: blue, red and green. The green, and for you the red, is the main color, but then still it doesn't necessarily mean that that's your Ikigai. That you can still think how you can put the other things in it, how you can mix the things. Like self-improvement and counselor and teaching is one big thing, but the creativity, it's still a big part of me, of things that I both love and good at and can be paid for. So why just ignore it? Why not putting that inside of it?
I hope we are making sense.
Yes.
It's very difficult subject,
to explain,
and this video might be short, but actually we are quite long time here discussing together and thinking exactly, trying to find the sense of all this. Is, for example, creating things and helping others. It can be one. It's not necessarily two different, because they can all be in the content creator thing.
And also,
that
if I think we have forgotten you, but we haven't. So if I think when I was small, I kind of had the answer. I liked a lot since the early age to organize, to plan, but as well kind of teaching the other kids something and getting very creative and writing. I started writing very early. Maybe the answer, we already had it when we were 10.
Mine was dominant is the red, and clearly it's related with like learning, improving and helping others. And I believe that the smaller things here that are in the other colors, they are not necessarily what I do, but they are how I do it. Here is the connecting what I found. Entrepreneur. It's this that I want to learn, teach, help others, but I don't want to necessarily do it as a job, but I want to create the things myself, have that creativity coming from me.
I think maybe I will not have an immediate answer, but I feel that this is already a lot. It made a lot of clarity, but I still have to give time to myself to think more and probably experiment more and see how I can combine different things. So I think experimenting and experience, it's part of this exercise. It's not an exercise that ends here. It's like a journey. What about you?
So what I can see in this, that my Ikigai is being an entrepreneur, creating things myself. There are basically no limitations to what I do. Then that it's related with self-development and learning all the time new things. Helping others / teaching. So while I'm learning, improving myself, I'm teaching others as well how they can be better, and I'm helping in their lives. And exactly what I'm teaching are the important values in life, what I wrote in what the world needs. And then the last thing, community close to people. That is not just necessarily that I'm creating these videos on YouTube, never actually meeting anybody, that I really need to have some sort of community and feel the connection. I think that is exactly what is my Ikigai. I think this was progress in our journey, not as big as last episode, but I think still we are getting close.
Towards compass, because I think we are really guiding ourselves towards our vision, knowing more what we want to do and how it is possible to find fulfillment in life.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching another episode. And in the episode 5 we will go into more awesome stuff again.
See you next time.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Ciao.